Pete Mauro.
Didn't want to get your hopes up or anything. I did test this out before the show and it didn't do this. This is not a bit, but it could be if you want it to be. This is going well so far. So I'm Pete Mauro. I was gonna do some music and comedy tonight, but I'll just do some comedy. So all these people who shop at Whole Foods and stuff, it's like you want to eat grass-fed beef? Why don't you just skip the middleman and just eat grass?
Coffee electric.
Oh man, stop crying. Put that down.
Thanks, guys.
It's been great, bro.
Your support is what keeps me here.
Yep.
Now what are we gonna do with this baby? All right, so it's about Christmas time around here, which would be great if it didn't feel nothing like Christmas, smell nothing like Christmas, or look nothing like Christmas. Everybody must be on the nice list for Christmas this year, because all of us are getting care packages for no reason. I feel like people who donate money to that stuff should really just donate money to a good cause. It's like, we don't need that stuff. We know everybody in this room knows exactly what everybody else in this room is getting paid. We don't need just extra candy and stuff. If we want that stuff, we can just buy it. So a lot of people around here, I guess around the holidays, people start to miss home a little bit more. People are getting desperate a little bit. One guy that's definitely pretty desperate is a guy who goes by the name of the Fondler. We don't really know much about him. All we know is that he likes to fondle. So there's this shower over in the 1200 block that has some evidence tape over it, and I asked around about it, and it turns out that apparently one summer night a couple years ago, somebody was showering, just minding their own business, and a guy walked in, just reached through the curtain, and or I don't know if it was a guy, just somebody walked in, reached through the curtain, and just fondled a dude in the shower. He got his fill. He didn't leave unsatisfied. I mean, he just walked away unscathed. Nobody could ever identify him, but he did not leave unfulfilled. He's not the only one who's having trouble and being a little bit desperate around these times. I've always had trouble with women. Yeah. Probably surprised. Yeah. Oh man. This one time when I was in high school, I needed to break up with a girl, but I didn't really know why. And I just felt like it was kind of over. We used to walk around the hallways every day with each other in the morning. And then one day I just kind of pulled her aside and I said, "Oh, we kind of have to break up." And she said, "Why?" And I just said, I don't know. And I just walked away. I probably broke that little girl's heart. I was a freshman in high school. She still doesn't know why I broke up with her, and neither do I. Just felt like it was over. So that's not the end of my bad communication skills, specifically with women. I try to use Snapchat a little bit, but I think the premise of Snapchat is you just want to send people your face over and over again and what you're doing and stuff like that. I feel like if I take a lot of pictures of my face and show it to this girl that I somehow tricked into talking to me, that she'll like start to catch a whiff a little bit of that I'm actually not that good looking, not that athletic or anything. And the whole charade will be up. So I just continue to try and court this girl without ever letting her see my face ever. Because you know that'll work. That'll work eventually. And maybe we'll get married and it'll be way too late. Just can't do anything about that. Married an ugly dude. That ugly dude's a winner. So apparently I am making strides with some of the ladies in the dining hall. You know the ones that scan their ID? Starting to talk about last week. I just walked in, scanned my ID, and they were kind of giggling to each other, and I was like, what's going on here? And they just point blank looked at me and said, oh, you're just so handsome. You know, I really can't make that up, because that is really the first time that happened to me ever. So I just kind of smiled and walked away. I had no idea how to react to that. And yeah, that's it. Oh yeah, it might have been. She might have just been confused because I was wearing my Cristiano Ronaldo jersey, the one I wore last week or 2 weeks ago up here. And as we all know, she might have just made that association because Cristiano Ronaldo has a huge package. If you don't really know about that, it's because I know this personally because he put up. Because in Madrid, they tried to commemorate him by putting up a statue out in front of the stadium, and it was very well endowed. The statue had a huge bulge around the penis area, and yeah. You know, it didn't. You can't really bend it like Beckham, but you know that's just a matter of preference. That guy right there got it. Thanks, man. So back to my problems. I don't really like texting with women, but I feel like that's just how relationships get developed these days. No matter how you meet them through, online, in person, whatever, the vetting process is just not in person. It's over these text messages because what better way to get to know someone than just these little random 1 or 2 sentence messages that just get sent back and forth when someone's in the middle of doing something else, trying to type on these tiny little screens. Yeah, I really not a fan of that. Why don't you just immerse yourself in what you're doing and what's around you instead of trying to stop it every time and tell them what you're doing instead of just telling them about it later. That was really a joke. I just kind of hate texting. Yeah. I get told sometimes when I'm texting I'm too serious. Like maybe I don't use enough exclamation points or something like that. Somebody told me I needed to use more emojis. That would probably fix it. So, yeah. I felt like emojis for a while were kind of degrading the human thought process and kind of limiting our creative thoughts and just reducing our words that are already shortened enough by texting to just these pictures. But then somebody said that you could communicate with anybody in any language with these emojis. And I think that would be pretty cool. You could just try to text with somebody and they have no idea what language you speak, but you can communicate with them through that. I think it'd be nice if our president knew about this, because then he could just offend other world leaders without even needing a translator. You just send them a bunch of little tiny pictures and just piss them off. Like you could just do like the wall and then the Mexican flag and then a picture of the money. Or you could just do like the guy in the turban and then just a straight up thumbs down. We don't want any of this brown people. Sorry, that was a little bit. I feel like if I wasn't white, I would have gotten a different reaction. This is what I kind of heard, like, oh. No, all the white people are kind of afraid to laugh at it too. One thing so maybe my problem with women is that I'm not enough of a bad boy. I mean, I don't really see the problem, but I'm bad at everything. You name it, I cannot do it very well. One thing I could definitely never be good at is rapping. Surprising, I know. I've tried it, but I just don't have enough to rap about. That whole, oh, you don't know where I'm from thing doesn't work when the answer is the whitest suburb of Columbus, Ohio. Could I maybe rap about all the times when mom made me drink skim milk instead of whole milk to stop us from getting fat? Didn't work at all. Could I maybe rap about the time where I got a 0-100 batting average in baseball? Yeah, there's no correct way to say that because it never happens. My last year in Little League Baseball, which I'm really happy I didn't go another year, well, I got no hits the entire year. Even the coach printed out a stat sheet at the end of the year and kind of handed it to everybody, and they're like, oh yeah, I got this many home runs and RBIs and my batting average was this. He just kind of handed mine to me. I don't even know why he printed it out, really. It's just zeros across the board. Didn't do anything that year. Can I maybe rap about all the times that I got told I couldn't play basketball because of the way I walk? Happened once. Maybe should I rap about the time my ex-girlfriend messaged me after we broke up and asked me if I turned gay yet? Also because of the way I walk. And probably because of other things. Yeah, I mean, you can laugh, you can feel bad for me and laugh at the same time. You don't have to stay reserved about that. That's what I'm here for. Yeah, I can maybe rap about the time that my parents tried to make me use chopsticks instead of forks and spoons to try and slow down my eating habits. Maybe make me less fat again. Did not work again. I just got really good at eating with chopsticks. Fast. It doesn't really make sense to me that the culture that invented these chopsticks are the same that invented rice. Or not invented rice, obviously, but they use rice in a lot of their meals. It's you can only, with the chopsticks, max, I'm pretty good at it, you can only pick up 3 pieces of rice every time. It's but somebody's trying to teach you how to do it, they'll say, oh, it's just using your 2 fingers. It's yeah, why don't I just use my 2 fingers? It's not like I'm any stranger to that. I mean, just look at me. Definitely use my fingers to eat a lot of food, chicken fingers, spaghetti, chili, whatever. If I don't have the utensils, I'm still gonna eat. Maybe Chinese people and other people around the world see how we eat, what we used to eat, and just realize exactly why we have an obesity epidemic. And it's because we use these little shovels, just smaller versions of shovels, and just scoop food in our mouth rapidly, over and over and over again. The guitar was a gimmick. I wasn't gonna play it.
So you don't play guitar?
No, I've never played the guitar before. Just pretend that I held it the whole show and then just never played it. That was what I was intending to do. Is he going? You are most of the way out, sir. You could have kept that going. I wouldn't have felt bad at all. Yeah. So, after that, just kind of derailed my thought process. I was on Americans, I think. Oh yeah. How many people in here own a truck? You ever use that shit? You ever use the bed? Really? How often?
Yeah. Weekly.
Weekly? Oh. Well, that's not what I was really expecting. Could you just say you never use it to go on with it?
Never.
No, you never use it? Yeah. Just buy a compact car, alright? You don't need that big of a truck.
Friday night's date
Don't
night.
tell me how to live.
You say Friday night's date night? What's that?
Yes, if we use the bed.
Oh. I had a truck all through high school. Never once used it for that. These Americans, they like fantasy football. I don't really get that. But I don't mean to brag. I am in the Super Bowl for my office fantasy football league. And that's not bragging at all. It's really pathetic that that's one of the biggest things in my life right now. All these people, all the American people that are stereotypical and they really like that fantasy football league, those are still the same people who make fun of people who play Dungeons and Dragons and video games for being nerdy. The word fantasy is still in the name, and you're looking at the nerdiest part of sports. Like, there's statistics. You don't even have to watch the game to know anything about fantasy. It's one of my friends actually won $20,000 playing it a couple weeks ago. He was playing like DraftKings or something. I was like, why'd you do that? Why didn't you just join the army, suffer in agony for about 6 months while you went through the training, stick around, get your unit, get told that you're gonna go to Kuwait, pretty soon with not enough notice, and then just spend 9 months in Kuwait. More like a year, because they said 9 months originally. Spend a year in Kuwait, and then go back home, and you have a little bit more than $20,000. I don't understand why you just didn't do that instead. All that research you had to do to pick the right guys. Yeah, what a waste of time. It's amazing that fantasy football is still legal. I mean, it really is just betting. I used to like to go to the horse races with my dad. I couldn't bet, but he would just bet for me. And he always told me that the horses you wanted to bet on were the ones that just took a poop right before the race at the starting gate. I wanted to translate that to fantasy football. So when you're watching the football, the pregame coverage doesn't really cover that. I feel like if it did, I would watch it.
What the fuck?
Yeah, I didn't see that going off the. I'm just gonna leave it there. All right. But what you can do in fantasy football is like kind of the equivalent to the horses. You can just pick the guys who most recently beat up their wife or girlfriend. Whoa. I'll go ahead and say it for you. Yeah, that's a little bit too much. I mean, they usually perform better. I mean, in a sport where their job is just to run at other people as fast as possible and just hurt each other. I mean, it's not really that surprising. That's kind of the grit and dedication and, just brawler sense mentality that you want out of a football player who's going to score you a lot of points. So this comedy thing is a little bit hard. I mean, I try to write, the way I came up with it originally is I just try to write stuff in this little note I have on my phone. And I wrote